What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Vicktory Life Legacy Spotlight. Today, I am joined by a very, very, very special guest. I'd say special guest a lot because I've had some great guests, but this is a guy I've seen grow up right in front of all four of my eyes. He's like family to me, and I'm a big fan of him on and off the court. Julian Rivera, Highland High School's own starting point guard. Julian Rivera joins the Legacy Spotlight. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm glad to be here.
I'm good, man. And to everybody, if it's your first time watching, I'm Dwight Vick, owner and founder of Vicktory Life. Very proud to have you on, Julian. Really just love your game. But before we talk about how much I'm a fan of you and how, Highland's going, you guys have a very rigorous schedule, a lot of great opponents, star-studded cast that you have in your starting lineup and even your bench. I want to take it back because you and I have talked over the years. I remember you playing for the Playmakers, playing for Gainesville Middle. You played 2 years with my son, Isaiah Vick. I've gone on record on Twitter several times. I got a huge following, and I feel like you are one of the best point guards in the DMV. I feel like you've always been a great point guard. I love your game. I love how you get everybody involved, but you also have a good offensive package. But like a lot of young men, when you're level, the level you play at class of 2025, you didn't wake up and become that. So who got you into basketball, man? Like where did that come from? I mean, your family, like like where'd you get the basketball interest from? Where'd that start off at?
Yeah, my siblings and I were always playing sports together, especially me and my older brother. So we were playing a lot of soccer, basketball, baseball, just rec, but doing it all year round. And then when I got towards middle school, I kind of decided I was like, you know what, I think that after trying out all these sports, I think I want to focus on basketball. I like it a lot. I have fun. I have fun working at it. I basically started in middle school, but pretty much just growing up playing sports with my siblings. Playing out in the neighborhood, playing basketball, pick up 3-on-3, 4-on-4, with all my buddies. So that's really where it came from.
What's up, man? So you weren't a childhood phenom protege and nothing like that? Everybody, you didn't have that background where, you were 7 years old. You know what I'm talking about? You see those documentaries and they say, we knew at 6 years old he had six three-pointers. And it's like, really? What do y'all call that, cap?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, definitely not. I definitely was not a young prodigy. I was actually looking back at it. I'd say I was pretty bad when I first got serious into it.
Really?
Yeah, I just the thing is that shout out Coach Artie from the Playmakers. I came to one of her tryouts in fourth grade, and I couldn't do the two ball handling drill. And she still took me. She still wanted to have me on the team, even if it wasn't going to be playing a lot or whatever. She wanted to develop me, and she took the time. And so I just between fourth grade and eighth grade, and we were just constantly working with her, training with her, being a part of her team, and my skill level definitely elevated a lot. But I definitely didn't start out that way. I think the only thing that she could attest that was something that was good that she saw in me was just like my defensive instincts. But offense was a real struggle for me to start.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Artie. Let's stay on that for a second, man, because excuse me, I have a lot of respect for Coach Artie. I've had you on now. I've had Hassan Ahmad on. Cam Cole, as you know, we follow each other on Instagram and Twitter and all of that. Cam Cole has been on, and I have other guys on. I look at her program, especially in Prince William County. I have an AU organization. We came in a few years after her. To me, man, she's really been instrumental in helping a lot of people get exposure and notice, especially in that Gainesville, Prince William, Western side of the county where you and I live at, excuse me. And she's got a great program. A lot of ballers have come through. Isaiah Abraham, you played with him on that. He's at UConn. Saw him dunking the other day in the game or in practice. But talk about Coach Artie, man, and just what it was like because you were with her. You were part of that black team that was really
Yeah.
good. You got Jaquan Womack. Just he got an offer a handful of months ago. I mean, a lot of talent. Patrick
Mhm.
Luana was on that team. I can go on and on. I mean, you were part of that black team. Desmond Hopkins.
Yep.
Played a Patriot with Isaiah Makai Dillard. Makai Dillard.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, we
Oh,
had a
yeah, I
good
better
group.
keep going. Yeah, y'all had a great group. That black team was really loaded, man. But just Artie, Coach Artie, I've always had a respect for her. But from your perspective, you played for her in that team that was together for a long time. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I played with her for, let's see, six, 7 years straight. And I had a lot of fun. I mean, she was no walk in the park. I mean, she was definitely hard on us. Definitely was big on conditioning. I can tell you horror stories about that all day long.
Yeah.
Um, but she was really big on just harping on the hard work part and just talking about like how this hard work is going to pay off, and we have to be in the gym as much as we can. We got to prove that we love it, love the game. And so she really was the first one to kind of um, show me like, listen, like you can get what you want, but you got to really work hard for it. So she really showed me the value of hard work, and yeah, I mean, and she's great. I'm really grateful that she was a part of that chapter of my life. I still keep up with her, from time to time today. But yeah, she's great. I mean, I always tell everybody that talks to me about their kids that are growing up and wanting to play AAU. I'm like, yeah, you send them to Artie. I mean, she's great at developing the young kids and getting them ready for high school. And I always have high praises for her. I mean, she was my first serious coach, and she means a lot to me. So I mean, it was awesome to get to be a part of that program and part of that journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you talk about your family, and your older brother you mentioned.
Yeah.
Is there anybody? I mean, obviously, man, you're a highly touted guard, playing in Highland again. I've watched your development. I watched you play. I mean, you're ranked, and you have a great skill set. But before you became that, as we mentioned, you were working on your game and still learning how to play the game at a high level. Some families come. We mentioned Isaiah Abraham earlier. He comes from a basketball family of royalty. I've known
Yeah.
his family for a long time. What about you? Is there anybody else in your family that that you can point to, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be basketball. It could be soccer, it could be baseball.
Yeah. I mean,
Anybody else?
I was gonna say no basketball. I kind of pioneered that in my family,
Okay,
but my older sister, she's the oldest. She played 4 years varsity soccer for Patriot. And
that's right.
then
Yeah,
yeah, and then so then she ended up going and playing D2 soccer at University of South Carolina Aiken for 2 years.
nice.
Um, but then she tore ACL twice,
Mm.
and I think after that second time, she was just like, I don't think I want to keep going with this. But so she was the first one in the family to go play at the collegiate level. Um, but yeah, but I mean, she was a stud. She was really good. I loved watching her play. She and I are very similar. She's also kind of another one who kind of was like, you got to work, especially in the sport that you're in, and your circumstances of not being the tallest guy, like you got to make up for it somehow. So that was, and seeing that firsthand, seeing somebody having to work at the college level, even Division II, people have their opinions on D2, D3, but it's just as competitive, just as intense. So
No
it was nice to
question.
see that. Yeah.
First of all, a little tidbit about that, and I'm always going to speak on this when this comes up, whether it's your legacy spotlight or if I'm being featured on someone else's platform. Very few people are going to play collegiately. And this is one thing I knew years ago. I'm an OG, but I played in the late 90s, and I realized very quickly like how blessed and fortunate I was to, back then there weren't DMs and text messages, they were letters. And I was like, wow, I mean, I have a chance to play at this level. It was pretty cool. I kind of just didn't realize what I was a part of. So you're 100% right. Your sister gave you some knowledge on that one because very few people are going to play at the next level. Obviously, everybody wants to play at the highest level, man, but D2, D3, D1, it's all, post high school where some kids are going to go off to college or go off to Nova or go off into, corporate America and get a job. And to play and compete after high school is a blessing. To compete after college is even a bigger blessing. So shout out to your sister for giving you that knowledge, man. I want you, well, hold on. Let me ask you this because I've been wanting to ask you this. I saw it on Instagram and Twitter when I saw your highlights, and I think it was Coach Chauncey posted some of your stuff. I said, wait a minute. I was talking to Isaiah, your boy Zay. I said, yo, when did Julian get all of this, man? When did this come in, bro? Like, yo, hold on, man. I know y'all young men now. When did you get all of that, man? That just you just woke up and it came out,
No,
huh?
I guess last year it really started to grow out. I've always kind of had the mustache like since middle school, late middle school, but
Yes, yes.
it's just starting to grow out. My dad always teases me because we always used to be like, oh, like you're so hairy, you've got all this facial hair, blah blah blah. And he's like, just wait, like it's coming. And so now I'm starting to karma's starting to catch up to me. But
No
but yeah,
doubt.
so now I'm just like at first I was kind of against it, but now I just kind of embrace it.
Yeah,
Kind of part of my look now. So
yeah. Um, I mentioned Chauncey. He has trained a lot of players in the Northern Virginia DMV area, especially Northern Virginia, obviously. You've been part of his group, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Talk about his impact on your development as well. I mean, obviously it came later, but still, you've been in that group. I've seen him shout you out on Twitter, now X, a lot about how good you are and your skill set. I'm a fan and I'm in agreement with Coach Chauncey. Just again, speak on him like we spoke on Coach Artie, because I mean, his development, his training, I mean, he trained a guy I coached for a few years in Grant Polk, and I think he's been huge in taking Grant's game to the next level. He just
Mhm.
committed to the University of South Carolina, Isaiah Abraham, Patrick Nwamba. I mean, we can go on and on, but this is your legacy spotlight. How's he impacted you?
Yeah, no, I wish I had kind of gone to him sooner. That's probably the one regret I have. I didn't start training with him to my sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely took a huge step in like my point guard development, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the stuff we work on is like it's like obviously you do some like cone drills and shooting and stuff, but we're also
Mm-hmm.
kind of working on concepts and just kind of working on the IQ, trying to sharpen that axe. So I really appreciate that part because I felt like with Artie, we always did a lot of the fundamental stuff, which was the reason I got to where I am today. But then Chauncey kind of took that and took it to the next level for me. So having those two kind of like perfectly, one kind of started me out, and then the other one's kind of here getting me to the last stretch here of my high school career was it's pretty it was pretty great. I mean, I'm really grateful for Chauncey. He's so positive. He's always shouting his guys out. He's always got our back. He's always vouching for us. He's a great trainer. I've definitely built a really close relationship with him.
No
You know,
question.
I'm absolutely grateful that he's around and he's in my area so that I can utilize his skill set. I also like me and him. I don't know. It's been going on for like 2 years now, where we've been going before school to work out. Sometimes a couple guys join me. Sometimes my Highland guys join me. Um, Recently, last couple weeks, or I gotta say, I guess since the school year started, Jeremiah Gorham, my teammate, and then my other teammate, Shivis Taylor, they both have been joining me. Shivis joined me a little bit while back, but now all three of them go consistently. So it's awesome. He does a lot for my team and for me. I could go on and on about him, for the whole podcast, but I know we got to move on.
Nah, it's all love, man. I'm big on giving everybody their flowers and shouting them out that have an impact on people like yourself, man. We don't need to wait till they're gone to recognize their impact, man. And I'm a very level-headed guy. I'm into respect and giving people their flowers, and I have a lot of respect for both Coach Artie and Chauncey. I mean, a lot of times people think they're making all this money and they're getting the bag, man. A lot of times, man, especially I know this for Coach Artie, she put a lot of her own time and money into the playmakers. And, on
Absolutely.
top of it, you look at Coach Chauncey, I mean, yeah, we all know about Nate and Mint, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, man. But there's a lot of guys he trains that go, to a lower level, or kids that come to him that they don't have the skill set like you and some of those guys. And then by the time he's done with them, they're one of the more recognizable players in Northern Virginia or the DMV. So respect to him as a trainer. Good stuff, man. Speaking of that, man, we started to show off, and I told you, and of course, when I run this, everyone's going to see that I said I'm a big fan of yours. And one reason I've talked to your old teammate Isaiah about this, my wife and Shanice, love you as a point guard, because I think, you know, Nas once said, I know I'm an OG, so Nas, you may not even know who that rapper is, but he said hip hop is dead. This was several years ago. And I often joke and say point guard play is dead, because Steph Curry, one of the best point guards. You can argue he might be the best point guard of all time. He has revolutionized the game with his 3-point shot. Now everybody looks for these point guards and say they got to score, they got to be able to shoot. And ever since I seen you play at Gainesville Middle School and I saw you on the AAU circuit, you have the distinct ability to run the point the way I love it. You get guys involved, you know, when it, your shot selection, you know how to hold people off. You do that little thing you do when they're riding your back. I know your game. I scouted you. I know you. I'm not gonna give a 4Q in the scouting report. I'm not, but I know your game. I've been watching you, dog, and you know, and again, I know what y'all call it glazing. I ain't glazing you,
Yes.
telling you the truth. Um, but on a serious note, um, where did that come from? You talk about the people you impact. This is kind of a two-part question. Were there point guards you watched from middle school, high school up where you watch right now? Was it somebody you played against? And on top of it, this is the second part of the question. I'm just talking in general about what I like about your game, but the second part of this question is, what do you think is some of your strong attributes as a point guard? But the first part of that question is, where did your point guard game IQ and skill set come from?
Actually, you know, the my grandpa was also a big basketball guy. He was like he loved basketball. You know, my whole family is
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse
Mm-hmm.
fans, fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so when I was younger, and they lived about 5 minutes away, and they pretty much all my life. So, you know, he was at a lot of my rec games and even some travel games, and up until about sophomore year, my varsity games. So he was always there, and he was really, really had a high basketball IQ. You know, he watched basketball constantly, so he was always just kind of giving me pointers and tips, and um, you know, I started to try to use them in game. And he's been the biggest guy. His biggest thing was always telling me that the pull up jump shot was something I had to master. You know, getting inside the paint and shooting a pull up jump shot. So, you know, I tried to make that a staple in my game. You know, just kind of uh all my major IQ, like people that regard me saying like I have a high IQ, I feel like kind of started from him for sure. um and then once I started to get more, because when you're in sixth grade, like there's no real point guard, shooting guard, center, small forward, whatever, like it's just everyone's the same height until about seventh grade.
Positionless
Yeah.
basketball. Yeah.
So once it was kind of clear that like I probably wasn't gonna be one of the taller ones on my team, um, you know, there's the people around me were just telling me like that, you know, I gotta get those point guard reps in, you know, I gotta start trying to handle the ball more, work on my ball handling. Um, so that's what I started to do. And yeah, just I mean just getting advice from everybody around me, my grandpa, my parents, my Artie, now Chauncey as well, like just kind of developed over time from other people. Also just like I really liked watching Chris Paul when he was on the Clippers. Um and I mean I still like watching him, but you know he's getting up there now. But uh you know, he's always just someone
Yeah.
that people always said to look to. So I was following him. But now I'm a pretty big fan of Jalen Brunson. You know, I really like watching lefties thrive. So
Mm-hmm.
when I watch him, I usually pretty entertained. I like to kind of, you know, look at him more in a closer lens.
He that's interesting you said that because he can score the ball, but he's a dynamic point guard because he
Absolutely.
also can get people involved. He's won me a couple of parlays. That's for a different podcast. But no, man. Now, the second part of that question is, what do you really feel like is some of your best attributes? Because I mean, I feel like you're a great passer, but I always feel like you mentioned the mid range. I was going to steal that and say that first, but I kind of wanted to lead you into your own answer and answer it yourself. What do you think? Like when you say, you know, this is one thing, no matter who we're playing, I don't care if we're playing the fifth ranked team in the nation or, you know, another, you know, I feel like y'all played what Grace Brethren 17 times last year.
Yeah.
Um,
Too many times. Too many times.
yeah. But if you're playing Grace Brethren or whoever, this is something that when you talk about Julian Rivera, you will or scouting you, this is something you're always going to do. This is just something I know no matter what, I'm going to be able to do these two, three things. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to count this as skill, but I just guess this is the first thing that always comes that I get a lot of compliments about. I think it's just like that I play hard and that, you know, I have a motor. and that usually shows on the defensive end and on the rebounding side of the basketball. So you kind of have to prepare that, like,
Mm-hmm.
when you play me, that like you're going to play against someone
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be playing all game hard as you can. I don't know if some people would just call that effort or skill, but I'll count it in there. Um, but then also, like you said, playmaking. But I think that my ability to get to the basket definitely was something that was like my primary source of scoring and creating, especially before I started kind of developing more of an outside shot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's kind of the first thing I would also say is just like kind of my ability to get paint touches, whether that's for me or for my teammates. But yeah, I would say, playing hard on the defensive end and on the rebounding side of basketball, but then also being able to get in the paint and creating.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to ask you, I've always wondered this about you. You mentioned you're competitive. You're very competitive. Kind of kind of undercover. That's the word, the phrase I'm looking for. I noticed, like, you got guys where I can see they're talking trash because they're chirping all the time at the foul line. You seem like you're kind of like that undercover dog, where you kind of like, it's funny you mentioned Chris Paul because he's the same way, kind of like get under your skin, like you nag people because you get those little sneaky steals. Do you talk when you play? I'm not talking about calling out the sets. I'm talking about you seem like you get going more when people challenge you. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
see, I got the scouting report, Julian. Go ahead. I got
it it can vary. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't think that today's the day. It just kind of depends. It really depends on usually I try not to start things, but if someone starts with me, then I'm like, the competitive spirit in me is like, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. Like I gotta show that I'm here and that I'm competing. But yeah, I mean, I think every now and then, like, I'll initiate some trash talk. Usually it's when I'm just kind of really, really like amped up from the game that like I kind of just like let the emotion out. But
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm a competitor, so I think that with that, sometimes that means trash talking. Sometimes that just means that I'm gonna be on the floor for every loose ball. Like it's just gonna be,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. You'll see it in some way or the other that like I'm here and I'm competing, whether that's what I'm saying to you or my actions or both. But yeah, I mean it's not. I don't think I go in every game and like, yeah, I got to pick this person tonight, try to mess with. But I'm not afraid to talk some trash.
Yeah, yeah, I love it, man. No, I know you don't initiate, but you don't back down. I've seen you play up at PG County, up in Suitland, and their old running shoe, Athletic Republic. I've seen you hoop a lot, man. So um, I definitely seen your toughness and your competitiveness. Let's talk about the current state of affairs. You are playing at Highland,
Mhm.
um, a program that's features some really great players that's going on to play at all levels, D1, D2, and D3. This year, the expectations around Highland are super high, not just because of Nate Ament. Everyone knows Nate, the 5-star, but because I'm from around here, and we're going to talk about your teammates because I think you and Jeremiah Gorham, who we got to get him on here as well, are a great backcourt. Arguably one of the best backcourts in the DMV. I mean, you both are feisty, great shooters. He can fill it up. I've seen him one time in middle school when he was over at Parkside, hit 7 threes in one game. And, I know his dad, who's great trainer, great coach, friend of mine. But before we talk about Highland and the expectations this year and your starting five and your teammates, because I want to hear your opinions about them and what it's like. How did you get to Highland? Because people don't, you didn't just get there. You have a little bit of a story. Share how you kind of got to Highland, because everyone has a story, but yours is unique, right?
Yeah, so my eighth grade year, Highland kind of like fell into my lap a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up touring there. I liked it, and I met the coach. At the time, it was Coach Hooker,
Mm-hmm.
but now obviously it's Coach Logan Miller.
Yeah.
Um, and so he and my mom actually invited him come to a couple of our Gainesville games, and he really liked what he saw, and he was like, "Hey, like if you come to Highland, like I think a varsity spot would be right there waiting for you." So I wanted to go my freshman year, and then COVID happened, and we kind of decided that we weren't really sure about Highland right now. But I still wanted to play, and I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go because I was, planning on going to Patriot with Isaiah and all the guys. I don't want to get. I don't. I
Hey,
know it's gonna make your
don't
blood
do
boil.
that to no, I know. I'm not mad because I don't ever get involved with anybody, but I often wonder, my God, you, Desmond, McCon, and then Tay Barber, Isaiah. Oh my, because you and Isaiah got great chemistry. But anyway, I apologize because
No, no.
Coach
I,
Logan
I
got a
went.
great one. Go ahead.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. But
Excuse me.
yeah. So my freshman year, I was also worried that there was going to be no season for most of the schools around us, and that was one of the
Mhm.
things I thought that was going to happen with Patriot because it was like they were fully online, and then Wakefield School out in the Plains kind of came into the picture because I like heard they were going to be in person. I actually had met the varsity coach, Coach Ford, at the time, and so I decided that I was going to go there because I was like, well, I want to play. And then I go there, and like our first preseason game after that, half the team gets COVID and they shut down our season, and it's just like over like that. And I
Mm.
was just pretty devastated. Luckily, I mean, it was my freshman year, but still. Um, so then after that, we kind of reevaluated Highland and reached out to the coach again and was like, hey, like, we're reconsidering Highland. Like, what do you think? Like, and he was like, yeah, like Julian would be a good fit here. Like, we'd love to have him. Like, I know the school would love to have him. So then I decided to make that transfer my sophomore year. So I did sophomore year there with Coach Hooker, and then after my sophomore year, he left, and Coach Logan Miller came. He was assistant coach at CNU. Um, and so I did my junior year, and then I did my junior year again because I reclassified, and now here I am, senior year, finishing out at Highland. So I got 4 years
Yeah,
at Highland, but that's kind of just how it all started.
no doubt, no doubt. Talk about coaching Logan Miller, man. Very good coach, well known in the coaching ranks. But again, you're playing for him. He's coaching you. He knows how good you are. So just, talk about him as a coach, man. What do you learn so far? I know y'all kind of getting going. It's only been about 3 weeks. You guys are early in the season, like everybody at this level. But at the same time, I mean, he's got a great team, man. But a lot of times it's all about the players. But I think when you have a great coach, the coach is the guy that gets you guys in position to be great. So just tell me about him, man, and tell everybody now like what's going on with him and what's his style like. What is he teaching you guys so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty crazy. He's a pretty crazy guy, um, but in the best way. He's passionate. He's really passionate about our team, and like he lives and breathes Highland basketball, which you can't ask for more from him. But I think he just has a lot of knowledge of the game.
Mhm.
I felt good about him coming in, knowing that he had college level coaching experience. He played at Christopher Newport. He actually is a Highland alumni.
He sure is,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
played at Highland. Um, but then once I actually started to meet him too, that I find that we're kind of very similar people. And I think that sometimes is what we get into it sometimes with each other because we're both such stubborn.
Hold on. Here exclusively on the Victory Life Legacy Spotlight. What you mean get into it? You mean that coach point guard, we should run this, we should press, we should trap? What do you
Yeah,
mean get
no.
into it?
I mean, yeah, that, but also, just I'm a competitor. Sometimes, in practice, he's gonna try to make things go against me just to see how mad he can get me. So, but I love it. I mean, I love it. He fuels the fire. Um, I know that's what he likes to get out of me because he knows what we need to win. Um, but he's done a great job with our group. I mean, no one really had a lot of expectations because like a lot of people had transferred out of Highland. Like it was like, oh,
Oh
like
yeah,
Highland's
that's
not going to
right.
be on the radar.
Hmm.
And then he came in. We had a 30-3 season. We were conference champions. We didn't win the tournament, but we were conference champions. Or I guess regular season champions. And then state champions. Um, so he came in and really turned the entire program around. And ever since he's just been like he works his tail off for us. He's bringing coaches into the gym whenever he can. He's really big on trying to get us to compete every day with each other. But yeah, I mean, I could again another guy that I could go on and on about.
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
lot of high praise for him, a lot of respect for him.
Well, speaking of Highland, man, as I mentioned earlier before we dived into how you got there and Coach Logan, this is a year, man. I saw an article about you guys, which I'm very proud that a local team is getting the national recognition. Obviously, Nate Mint, who I want to hear about here in a second, five-star player, really great skill set. Seeing him grow up as well. I remember when he was at Colgan, and he was a difference maker then, and then now he's just blossomed into. I saw him on the AAU circuit, the Adidas circuit, and he's just great to watch, man. But Jeremiah Gorham, known him, seen his development. You guys, as I mentioned, I think, and I have no problem. I stand on business when I say something. You guys are one of the best backcourts, I feel like, in the DMV, and you can make an argument in the nation. Jeremiah is a worker bee. He's not going to pop out to you because he's 6'6" or 6'2", but I mean, he can play. He plays big, and you both y'all together, man. So just talk about Jeremiah and what he's like to play with. Do you guys get into it if y'all on different teams? Because y'all both can kind of be feisty. But just talk about his skill set, him as a teammate, what you love about playing with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love all the guys, especially Jeremiah. I mean, I've had the pleasure of playing with him for the last 3 years. Um, the thing is that we have such a friendly relationship, like off the court, that sometimes like we're just kind of like we don't even like we'll be on the opposite teams in practice, but like you wouldn't really know it because it's like we'll come at everyone else except for each other because it's just like we're like I just it's different, he's my guy. Like I like all of them are my guys, but for whatever reason it just doesn't feel right, to be trying to go after him. But I have a ton of respect for Jeremiah. He works his butt off. These first couple of games of our season, like he's been popping off. And I'm really excited for him. I really hope that he gets what he wants out of this. I hope to see him playing next year wherever he goes. I won't be surprised wherever he ends up. But yeah, he's a great player. And he's also very knowledgeable. He knows so much about the game.
I'm
You
glad
just
you said that. Thank you. IQ, go ahead.
you talk to him, but like if you just talk to him and have a conversation with him about basketball, like that dude knows everything. He'd break down everything. He'll break down every number, every stat. He's got a huge basketball mind, and that's credit to his dad. I mean, great trainer, great coach. Shout out Coach Cliff. But yeah, I mean, he's just got a great basketball mind, and that's probably one of the best things I like about him is that he understands the game, and he's just someone who's fun to talk to about it too. Like you just feel like, wow, I'm having a really intelligent basketball conversation right now. So
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot of respect for Jeremiah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. God bless him, man. And you spot on with your assessment and description of him as a person and as a player. So talk about the rest of your teammates, man. Not the whole team. We don't have enough time. We're almost done. But your starters, man. We all know about Nate, but again, you know Nate a lot better than the outside world. So when I've seen clips of Nate, excuse me, on I saw him in Chauncey something last year. I think it was him, Chauncey, and Isaiah Abraham. They were somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, this dude Nate's kind of funny, man." I was like, he seems like silly, like because I don't know him. I'm a grown man. I just know y'all as hoopers. I know you and Jeremiah personally, but what is it like to play with a kid that a lot of people have ranked one or two on their board in regards to national ranking? And obviously, those things are subjective, and Nate doesn't care about that. But just him as a player and as a person, and even the other teammates in the starting lineup, because you guys have a really good starting lineup.
Yeah. First off, I personally think, and I don't care how much heat I get, he's the best in the country. That's hands
There you
down.
have it. There
I
you
think
have
he's
it.
the best in the country, number
Mm,
one.
mm,
Um, but
I hear
yeah,
you.
but I think that what people don't really know about him is like he's such a down to earth, humble guy. Like you would never like obviously you could guess because he's 6'10", but like if you were just talking to him, like you would never guess that he's this superstar. Um, he's just a humble guy and goofy guy, always got a smile on his face. He's a good person. He's fun to play with. He's not like one of the like a jerky 5-star who's like, well, like I got all these offers, like you don't know anything, like I don't need to listen to you. You tell him something and he's listening attentively. Um, he's a great teammate to have. I mean, I think that people don't realize that that's another part of being a superstar is like being able to be such a good teammate and listen to your peers, because even though you're a 5-star, you don't know everything, or you might not realize that you're in the wrong. So I have the privilege to get to play with somebody who understands that. And that's part of the reason why we've been so successful is he's not afraid of criticism. He's not afraid to be challenged. But he also doesn't think he's better than everybody just because he's, top player in the country. So, yeah, I think that's something that, I mean, I don't think anyone would be surprised by it, but just something that I don't think a lot of people know because they don't know him on a personal level. But
No, that's great to hear, man. I'm glad to hear it, man, because I think humility keeps us, if we understand it correctly, humility will keep you focused and keep you hungry. And if you're arrogant, you can sometimes get complacent. So shout out to Nate, man. Looking forward to seeing him play this year in the Elite Prep League. Now, just a few more questions regarding your teammates. Who else should be some players we should be looking for this year? You guys play a national schedule, but also you guys are going to be in Elite Prep League. So I'll see you guys a lot in person with my son playing at Fort Union. Definitely a matchup I can't wait to see. But who else on your squad, we should be looking out for, just as fans of the game like myself?
I mean, I'm biased, but I would tell you the whole roster. I mean, if you let me, I'll tell you the whole roster. I mean, I
Just
love all those
quickly,
guys.
quickly, quickly. Go
Yeah,
ahead, man.
I
Quickly.
got
Hey,
you.
it's
I
yeah.
mean, so we already covered three of the five starters, Nate, Jeremiah, and myself, but you can't sleep on anybody else. I mean, we got Chance Perkins. I mean, I
Chance.
know you
Yep,
know him
chance.
too, who kind of grew up,
Yep, chance.
grew up around here too. Sniper, one of the best, deepest bag guys that I know.
Mm.
Sneaky athlete, we make fun of him, but he's actually sneaky athletic, goofy guy. And then Josh Hamilton, very, very underrated guy, Canada born, but he is tough. He is athletic. He's a very positive guy. He's battled through some serious injuries and he's made a ton of sacrifices for this team.
Hmm.
I definitely will be surprised if someone doesn't come snatch him up soon.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna go with Jamal Smith and Shivis Taylor. They're both from around here as well. Jamal played at Colonial Forge before he came here. Great energy guy, competitor. He's one of those ones that's gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna go pick on that guy tonight." Like,
Mm.
one of those guys. And then Shivis is one of the best catch and shoot players I think I've ever played with. He really, really has got a clip. So those two guys, and then got a couple other guys, Tyson Bourne, and Tonish and Evan Thornton. These three, they're
Evan,
yeah, Evan.
that's my
You
guy.
guys know Evan. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know Evan. I've known him. Sorry to cut you off. That's my guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
go ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
He's friend. He told me he was telling me about that the other day. He was like, yeah, yeah. Me and Isaiah used to run track together or whatever.
Man, love that kid. Love his dad. Shout out to Evan, man.
Yeah,
Evan and Isaiah looking like two basketball forwards out there running the sprints, man. But Evan's a great athlete, great kid, hard worker, man. Shout out to my
yeah.
guy
No,
Evan, man.
all three of those guys, they work hard, they compete. Um, they're all pretty good athletes. Evan's a really really bouncy athlete.
Yeah.
Um, all three of them, they do a great job. Very vocal. I mean, I this is one of the best teams I've been on. One of the best teams like I've enjoyed with playing with. I mean, all these guys are great guys. Everyone will tell you that they love them. They're very well thought of in the Highland community. Um, you can't really ask for much better. They're very supportive, competitors. I could go on and on. I don't want to keep going on you, but
No, it's okay. It's all
they're
love. It's yours,
they're
man. You got it.
they're a great group to be a part of. So I'm grateful that I have them as my circle. I'd pick them over anybody any day of the week. So, you know, it's been a blessing for me to play with
Yeah,
them.
man. And I'm gonna just say this, man. I don't know all those kids. I know many of them. And whether it's you or Evan or Jeremiah or Nate, I'm happy that you guys are living your dream and doing well. I want everybody to stay healthy. I want everybody to excel. I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of these kids out here, including yourself. You know how much, we love you and the Vick family, but I'm very excited for them and you guys with the exposure you're getting because I'm an old head to you. So I understand like eventually this is all going to come to an end. So I really want you guys to maximize the opportunities, cherish the wins, learn from the losses. You know what I'm saying? So this is all about experience and stuff that many people can experience. You know, traveling the country, playing on TV, playing in televised games where people are there. You know, I ask y'all sometimes, do you ever know you're like, man, I'm just out there playing, man. I don't notice all this or whatever, man. But with that being said, man, you know, obviously I'm biased because I've seen you grow up and I've seen your skill set, and I'm happy, you know, how the very good player you're becoming and the work you put in. But you know, obviously the goal for you is to play the next level. Um, I've learned a lot the last 5 years. You know, my son played for DC Premier for 2 years in New World, and you played on the shoe circuit team. Before that, you were with Artie. You guys played on the Under Armour circuit. I see so many good players now, and with the portal and all the different things, it's crazy, man. Because I see kids get offers, and you find out it's not committable. Then you see kids transfer, go here. I've learned that it's just a long-term process with some kids. Obviously, you have the Nates who are, you know, number one player in the country, but you're a damn good player too. And so is Jeremiah, my son, and other kids. But everybody has a different path or different journey. What is your recruiting looking like right now? Are you hearing from anybody? I know you're a very keep it close to the vest guy. You're not going to get, and that's fine. I'm not asking for like a 15 or six, whatever teams, whatever. But I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about that because I want to see you get offers. I want to see you play at the next level. I think you will, but at the same time, I understand how this game where recruiting is very interesting. It can get really spooky. A coach can call you, DM you, you go for an unofficial visit. You might not hear back from him for 6 months. You know what I'm talking about, Julian? So, you
Absolutely.
know, what's going on with that? You know, are you hearing from anybody, or is it kind of early in the game right now? I know you're a senior, but still, are you hearing from anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from all three levels. As far as offers go, I think that like with the higher levels, so the Division Ones, Division Twos, it's like very like on the brink of offering, but haven't taken that step yet. So it's very stressful because it's like, it's very like, okay, so like how much priority am I to these guys? Like how much are they really like looking forward to recruiting me? I have to ask those kind of questions. Um, but I've heard from Christopher Newport and Randolph Macon, which were two D3s that are obviously very highly regarded, especially around here.
Yes.
Um, so as in terms of Division 3, but yeah, I mean, I'm hearing from all three levels, but I haven't really made a choice yet about like am I just like what am I going to do here next year? What am I just saying like I only want to go certain level, whatever. So I'm still trying to just let this season play out, trying to enjoy this senior season, and whatever comes out of it, I'm gonna be happy with. But yeah, I mean, it's a process. It's definitely a stressful process. I know Isaiah can tell you firsthand. I know you probably can tell
Yes.
you firsthand,
Yes.
but it's it's
Yes.
it's stressful. So I'm just trying to work through it. I'm trying to make sure I see all my options, and I make sure that I take into consideration each one before I decide, and probably closer to the springtime what I want to do. Um,
No doubt.
but we'll see. I mean, I'll definitely
What?
keep you updated before.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you with the update with that, man. And all I can tell you is this, like I tell a lot of kids I talk to around here in Prince William and Fairfax and DC, whatever. Hey, man, just keep working hard. Stay locked in the classroom. You're playing for a great coach. You guys going to have a very good season, good team. You know, you're going to have a lot of eyes on you, man, and you never know who's watching. Everyone has a different story. And I know you don't do this, but just a reminder to, to those watching this when I run this and going through the same situation in other sports, your journey is your journey, and you know that. And don't get caught up with the other guys posting blessed to receive. That's their journey, and we don't know the journey, the situation that got them there. So I'm just excited for you, and you have the right attitude and the right mindset. So one last point before we get out of here, man. What do you want to say to the future Julian Riveras, the kids at Gainesville right now, at Marstella, the kids and all across Virginia that are coming up that are young? Right now they're in sixth and seventh and eighth grade, and they're trying to get to where you at, playing at school like Highland or going to Patriot or whatever. What advice do you have? Because again, you mentioned you got to Gainesville and you tried out with Artie, and you could even do the two ball thing, and now you're able to do all that. I don't do, I ain't all that, but um, what do you tell them? What advice do you have for them?
I just tell them, just keep working, work hard, focus on the details. I know it's going to be a pain in the butt when you can't dribble those balls together and you can't, and one of them falls away, and it's going to get frustrating. And but just keep your head down and keep working. And if you feel like that you don't have any strong suits yet, strong skills yet, it doesn't take any skill to play hard. It doesn't take any skill to hustle. It doesn't take any skill to dive on the floor. Um, that's again another shout out to Coach Artie. That's something that she drilled into our heads, was like, the least you can do is play hard. So start with that, and the rest is going to come. But you just got to keep your head down, and also just trying to enjoy the process. I think that lately I've been a little stressed out about the process, but I'm kind of trying to take a step back and say, you know what, like, I've had a great experience. Like I've accomplished so much already. Like, even if basketball wasn't in the picture in a couple of years, whatever, like it's gonna be okay. Like everything's good. Like you've accomplished so much. Just be grateful for your journey. Um, because everyone, like you said, everyone's different. Don't feel like you have to compare yourself to everybody else. Just keep your head down, keep working, hustle, play hard, and everything's gonna work out.
Absolutely, well said, man. By someone like yourself, I appreciate the feedback for all these youngins out here following in your legacy and your spotlight. Great advice, great feedback. And Julian, I want to thank you for joining the show today. I know you guys have finished your homework and you guys got basketball, but I appreciate you, man. Again, on behalf of not just the Victory Life movement, but also my family, we're big fans. I'm proud of you. Keep grinding, keep balling, stay locked in, play hard for Coach Logan. Tell everybody, my guys, Evan and everybody else, man, Jeremiah said what's up. And to everybody watching this episode, we appreciate y'all for subscribing and watching. And if you haven't, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Check out Highland Hoops, Julian Rivera, starting point guard, one of the best point guards in the DMV. Somebody, if you love hoops, you love somebody playing the game the right way, that plays hard, that competes, check him and his teammates out. Obviously, they have a high profile team. They'll be everywhere, coming to a gym near you. So, Julian, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that's part of the Victory Life movement. And like I say every episode, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, make sure you have a positive impact. You leave a great legacy. I'm owner and founder Dwight Vick. Thank you, Julian. You
Thank you for
guys have
having
a
me.
good day, good night, and a good morning. Appreciate you. Thank you, Julian.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.